Welcome back to the Culture of Currency, where today we're talking about the might and glory of Europe as it plays out in silver bullion coins. So I've pulled some silver bullion coins from different nations in Europe that I thought you might be interested in. Some of them are classic standards and some of them are series, so that you know what's out there and kind of know if there's something that pops out that you want to say, hey, I want to start collecting that series, what they have. Because I will tell you, Europe has some pretty cool stuff, and there's one in particular that's brand new to the scene that I think might be one of the best I've seen in some time. But we'll kind of start here with this coin. This was supposed to be a series, and for some reason it seems to have been abandoned. I know that this was the first in the series. This is Alderney, you see right here, and CI stands for the Channel Islands, which are the little bit of the islands kind of in between England and France to the south, I believe. But Alderney is a little island. It's one of those up there by Guernsey and all those. But this is the puffin. As you can see, it's a seabird. North Atlantic puffin is what we have here. Love the cold waters where it's nutrient dense. But this was supposed to be a series, and I have not seen any more in this series. It is a lower mintage. In fact, most of these are lower mintage. Not all of them, but most of them. But I want to say this was around 25,000 minted, and it was also my first bullion coin ever. So it's kind of a special place in my heart. Occasionally I will see them on APMEX, so you just kind of have to hunt around, but it's the only place I really find them. But if you know if there's more in this series and I'm just not aware of it, please let me know in the description, in the comments below. Next we go to Austria. I'm trying to keep this as ABCD organized as possible, but we all know how it is early in the morning. This is the flag bearer of Austria. We know it is the Philly, the Philharmonic, Wiener Philharmonica, sorry. So yeah, this is the Philharmonic. It is the calling card of Austrian silver. A lot of people in America don't really like it. I'm a musician, so I love it. I don't like the smooth edge that it has. It does have a smooth edge. It's not reeded. And it is a little bit smaller in diameter than some of these standard bullion coins, even though it still is 1 ounce. It is beautiful, and it oftentimes is cheaper than most other bullion coins by, a little bit, especially the mass-produced. So Britannia, this one usually is just a hair under that, kind of around where the kangaroo is, at least in the markets that I participate in. So that is our calling card. Another from Austria. This is a set of 3 that highlighted the anniversary of the Austrian Mint. In fact, if you don't know anything about that, it goes back to the Third Crusades, which is why we have a writer here in that type of art form. The Third Crusades, I know this one was in a broken capsule originally, so it does have some odd things going on. But basically they had Richard the Lionheart and King Leopold, who kind of were close and then not. Leopold ended up capturing Richard the Lionheart. Here's Leopold right here, Third Crusade. And the ransom money paid by England to basically get Richard back was what led to the founding of Wiener Neustadt, which was a city and mint. And it also is what led to the legend of Robin Hood. So here is the Wiener Neustadt in this series, which is one of the most fantastic coins I've ever seen depicting buildings. It's just gorgeous. 800 and I believe 25,000 of these were minted. But same obverse on these. But yeah, they founded the city, and all of the taxation needed to raise the silver to pay for the ransom of Richard is what led to the incursion of the Robin Hood mystery and legend. So here we have Robin Hood on the 3rd in the series. So the first in the series was Leopold, the second was Wiener Neustadt, and the 3rd here is Robin Hood. And these are still out there. There were quite a bit minted, like I said. It was over 800,000 of each. So you can still complete the series today. And usually they're not really high when it comes to premiums. So that is one that is easily maintained. And the last Austrian coin I have for you today is a legend. It's not necessarily a bullion coin, technically, because it's not pure. This is, I think, around 90, 80, somewhere in there. and I don't really remember. I have a very good video on all of that, but it's been 3 years since I've looked at it, to be honest. But this is one of the most important coins in world history, and you can figure out why that is by watching that video. I won't get into it now, but basically it is definitely one that I think every single collection should have, a good quality Maria Teresa dollar. So this is, in my mind, one of the most important important coins in the history of the world, and should be worth looking at. It does say 1780 here, and that's because when she died, she was such a loved person that every coin after it should also have this number, which was the year of her death. If you are a fan of music, Haydn was during her period, and Haydn composed some works for her and that type of thing. So really cool. And that concludes Austria. Next we have Great Britain. We of course know Great Britain for this coin. This would be their version of their Type 1, right? We talked about the American Silver Eagle Type 1, Type 2. This was the Britannia for a very long time. As you can see, it's not as beautiful as the ones today, but it's still a pretty sharp coin. And this one happens to have, if I can get my camera to do its thing, see if I can zoom in. This one happens to have a privy mark. Come on, camera. There we go. So you can see there's a little snake right there on the rim. So check your old Britannias, because that's where they used to put the privies, and that does reduce the mintage amount quite a bit. So this is a standard old Britannia, as you can see, 2013, and the newer Britannia. This is a coronation version. As you can see, Charles has his hat on there. Some would call it a crown. So this is a coronation version of the Britannia, but that is the updated version. So we see some beautiful rippling effects in the background. We see the security feature, which I'm pretty sure the Comsco Mint started that, but it's a really cool feature. We still have the cut column type legend here, but just gorgeous when it comes to a world standard coin. That is one of the prettiest. Another one here, we note that the checkering in the background, I don't know if that's picking up for you, but that checkering is something that is kind of a calling card for the English coins. They are gorgeous, and I love that pattern. But this is the Valiant. One of my favorite images, if you are a fan of sovereigns, the gold sovereigns, this is pretty familiar to you, but this should be familiar to many people, as this is a scene at St. George and the Dragon that is used throughout the world. It's in Russian coins, it's in European coins, Middle East has versions of it. It's really, really a legendary tale, and it was a really fun video to make about that tale. Next, we have another calling card. Many of you are familiar with this and have this coin. This is one that is highly minted, and so it doesn't have a huge premium on it, and you can go get a BU version, Brilliant Uncirculated version, today. Pretty easily you can find these, and this is the Royal Coat of Arms. Beautiful. You have the lion and unicorn. You have all kinds of stuff. The garter. We go all over all of these iconography pieces in my video, but it is just fantastic. One of the coolest I find coming out of England. It doesn't change every year, but it is definitely worth having. Recently, England had a Robin Hood series where they had people like Robin Hood, which we see here, Maid Marian, Little John, as a lower mintage variety of their legend. This is such a cool scene. He's on his live oak here, got the cool legend and font. Just a fantastic coin, and because Robin Hood is English lore, this is one that I thought I needed. And our last coin right here is another interesting one. So England, obviously right there, an island outside of Europe, is very, very big into, I guess, world cultures and things like that. And this is their play on the Lunar series. This is the rat, which was the first in the Lunar series. It is hard to make a rat look cool, but they sure did a good job. I think it's a beautiful scene, and it definitely was one that I wanted because I didn't have any lunar coins from England, and so this was the one that I chose. Really cool. Up next, we have the Czech Republic, and this is a very interesting one because it technically fits in a couple of categories. Would you look at those eyes? It's such a fierce look. We have, obviously, the lion here. We have King Wenceslas's crown. So if you know the song Good King Wenceslas, that's the guy that they're talking about. He was killed by his brother. It's a whole thing, but you don't need to know that now. But this was minted outside, or at least under the banner of another nation. And so technically it is a European coin. However, we see here the seal of Niue. We also see the Montrovian eagle. We see the linden branch here. Beautiful, beautiful pieces. Mine is starting to tone or do something weird. But I would say that this is one of the prettiest series in Europe, is this lion series out of the Czech Republic. Definitely worth diving into. Just gorgeous. Next, we have a coin that's not technically bullion, but I thought I'd bring it out because why not? And this is a older coin. This is a 10 mark coin from Germany. And this is going to be high value silver, but it's not quite bullion level. So I think it's around 80 something percent. Gorgeous, gorgeous overall. But what we see here is the Olympics. I love Olympic coins because basically we're talking about an event that unifies the world, at least for a moment. There have been wars that have stopped just for the Olympics, which is a fantastic thing to see. So to me, Olympics are something I love. And this was a silver coin that had, as you see, the Munich Olympics. And I actually had an uncle who was a judge in the Munich Olympics. And so that is something that is valuable to me. So just a little personal coin there. Next, we have Gibraltar. If you don't know where Gibraltar is, it's one of the Pillars of Hercules, right north of Morocco, south of Portugal and Spain. Really interesting history. As you see, we have some English iconography, but it is definitely a weird country that has so many interesting twists and turns. And this is their series that they're pulling out right now, and that is the War Elephant, which is interesting. Elephants don't live in Gibraltar. We know this. But if you know history, you know that Hannibal took a bunch of elephants like this, and he got them to go over the Alps and attack Rome from the north. Nobody saw that coming. And one of the places they expected, or they assume, not Gibraltar, one of the places that they assume Hannibal landed was Gibraltar when he covied his horde of 300 elephants across the Mediterranean. Really cool coin, and that is an interesting and cool series, and they do change every year, and it is low mintage. Next, we go to a new player in the game, and probably one of my favorite. Check this out. This is the island of Malta, one of the coolest places in Europe. It is an island in the Mediterranean that was controlled by so many people. There are monolith structures. It goes back historically like crazy, but this is from Malta. Really cool place. And as you can see, very, very high quality. This is their standard coin, their version of the American Silver Eagle for Malta. Obviously not going to mint quite as many of those, but it is high quality, 4 nines, and it is a Pressburg mint coin. When you decide you're going to get into the game of bullion like Malta did, and then you go to the Pressburg mint to basically carry out your will, you know good things are going to happen. Pressburg only does high quality. So this definitely is amazing. It scored very high on our 60-point scale, and it is one that everybody needs. But they also have even better stuff. Check this out. Also from Malta, look at the ornamentation on this. So many textures, so many beautiful things. I cannot even begin to describe it. Just gorgeous from Malta, and this is the golden eagle and viper, or snake, some kind of snake. I would assume it's a viper. Just amazing. And Malta, for you Bible scholars, was the place that Paul, being a Roman citizen, had the right to appeal to Caesar, and so he was taken by centurions to Rome, but they stopped in Malta first, and there was a snake there, and basically he had the snake bite him to show that he would not be harmed because God was with him and all this kind of stuff. And it, left the centurions with the ability to be converted. And then he went and pleaded his case to the head of Rome and Caesar. And though Caesar was not converted then, it did pave the path for so many to be converted. And eventually we have the turning within Constantine of, multi-deism or polytheism to them transferring to Christianity. Obviously, there's a lot of details in between, but that's just the abridged version. So, another beautiful coin from Malta. It is fantastic. Malta is doing great things. We love them in this. Next, one of my favorites is going to be the Netherlands. The Netherlands have a series where they restrike old coins. So this is an ancient coin. I wouldn't say ancient, but it is very old. I want to say it's the 1700s that this one originally was. But this is definitely one of my favorite series. They're restrikes of old stuff. I love history, as you may know. And this coin definitely has that because they restrike it to a T. They only change a couple of things like this date right here and things like privy marks. As you notice, there's a little raven right here, and that's one cool tradition that I love about them. Their mint master gets to choose a mint mark that he likes, and his last name has the word raven in it, and so a raven is his mint mark, and so his coins will have a little raven on it. Really cool. Here's another restrike from the Netherlands, the lion. Just gorgeous. This is a 2019. This was the first in their series, and you see right here a little mint mark too. Check that out. Scored like a 56 out of 60 or something like that, really high on our 60-point scale. And our last nation today is a weird one. I didn't know where to put them, to be honest, because they're a giant island in the Pacific. It's where Napoleon was taken whenever he was captured and escaped and then brought back there. But this is St. Helena, and they're on the pound. It's definitely a big English colony. In my mind, this is the right place to take him, but I really didn't know where to put them, so here we are. But this is Hera, which you see her right there, Greek goddess, taking her chariot of peacocks and doing Hera things, I guess. Really beautiful and ornate coins. We have a really, really solid structure of coins coming out of St. Helena. They do a great job. Here's another one from St. Helena from their cash series, which honors the animals of India from when England had protectorate and control over India. So this is a lion-tailed macaque, which is one of theirs. Beautiful series, has tons of cool animals in it. This is the one that I picked up recently. And obviously you see Charles there, the checkering in the background, really cool. But that's St. Helena. So there are some really cool coins and really cool series out of Europe. These are the ones that I have for you today. Thought that it would be cool for you to look at them, and hopefully you see one you like. Please let me know in the comments which one is your favorite, and I look forward to reading those. So thank you so much for watching as always, and please remember to stay classy and current with the culture of currency.